Hey guys!
Hello, hello.
How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
I am raising my cup to Robert Daniels and T-Bone Erickson, but Robert Daniels for being the last of the guys named in the new theme song to have joined us on the show in some way, shape, or form. So welcome.
Well, Gimli hasn't appeared yet, has he?
He is enjoying his dinner right now.
What's that?
Yeah, he is enjoying his dinner right now, so he will be joining us.
I would not want to interrupt him.
Oh, no. I wanted to make sure he was fed before the show, and he insisted that I feed him now. So I fed him now, and he'll be joining us momentarily, probably. Oh, microphone issue.
Interesting.
Is it me? No, I'm not hearing you.
Can you guys hear me?
No,
I can't hear
now.
Microphone and earphone issues here, folks.
Okay.
Well, at least we can show if we can't tell.
I can hear you. Okay, good.
Okay.
Hey, Chris Sar's here tonight. Sorry, I missed everything you were talking about, but don't worry about that.
That's okay. I was just mentioning that Gimli insisted that dinner before a show.
Oh,
yes.
So Gimli is going to be absent for the whole show? Is that
no? He will be here.
Okay.
It's just that he is eating right now. So
Is he familiar with the concept of second dinner?
Yes.
For the second breakfast. Well, gentlemen, as you know, this is Grab a Stack of Rock.
Oh,
and we will
wait a minute, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I think I misunderstood. Okay, hang on just a second.
What's he up to, Harrison?
I thought you said grab a rack of socks.
Grab a rack of socks. Sorry, Rob. We got this wrong. We got this complete.
I've got my
Godfather.
Godfather socks here, and my shark socks. So, sorry about that, guys. I think I misunderstood.
That's the show, folks. Thanks for joining us this week. That's funny, Rob. You were right.
I kid.
You are a funny man. Now we have a new feature on the show. We're going to start every episode now with Ask Harrison. Okay. And we take viewer and fan questions for Harrison. And I would like to present the first of the fan questions for tonight. You ready, Harrison?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, Harrison. How's it going? You know, there's something I've always been meaning to ask you. What the heck did your ancestors do that got you all banished to Australia in the first place? You're all like wanted criminals or something? Anyway, just something I always wanted to know. Anyway, good seeing you. Take care.
I wonder. I love how I'm always appearing in random places near T-Bone.
You're in his car, apparently. Well, Harrison, how would you respond to that question tonight?
I'll just quickly give you a rundown of my ancestry. I'm 5/8 Hungarian, 1/8 Czech, and I think 2/8 Ukrainian. So I generally believe they just took an issue with the Soviet Union and decided to leave, which is how we got here.
What a simple answer to
I can't fault them for that reasoning.
Simple and respectable answer to a very loaded question. Well, would you like to see the other Ask Harrison? Or you might not want to see the next one, but there's a next one. Okay. Ask Harrison.
Hey, Harrison, how's it going? You know, there's something I've always wanted to ask you. What's the difference between Australia and New Zealand anyway? Is New Zealand just like a higher security prison? Or the place where you send your cousins that you no longer want to have? Anyway, just one of those things I've always wanted to know. Yeah, good seeing you. Take care.
Wow. Well, Harrison, take it from there.
Well, functionally at times there is very little difference between Australia and New Zealand, and other times there's big difference. The main sort of 4 issues is there's this song called Slice of Heaven, which everyone seems to think is an Australian song, but it's a New Zealand song. And that's like the New Zealand national anthem.
Okay.
That's not the New Zealand national anthem, you know. New Zealand is also the place that the little kids say is the closest country to Australia when it's actually Papua New Guinea up the top.
Okay.
Because they just think New Zealand is nearby. New Zealand is also, you know, in our soccer league, it's called the A-League, and we have teams from all around Australia, but there's also a New Zealand team who get to fly over and play in it because they probably don't have enough teams or for their own league. So they get lumped in. And in fact, they're actually lumped in with us for hosting of the Women's World Cup next year. So we have my standard answer to anyone asking, have you been overseas, is, does Rocknest count? Which is the island which you can see from Perth.
No, does not count.
So no,
okay.
I have not been overseas. But Canada is the bucket list.
I'd like that very much. Well, thank you for being a good sport, Harrison. I promise the next batch of questions are not that loaded. I kind of like to start doing the show and tell with the special guest and then working our way counterclockwise. Does that work for you guys?
Sure.
So we have not discussed at all. We've discussed a little bit, but I have no idea what Rob's got tonight, aside from that rack of socks. And Harrison has
soundtracks.
I wager soundtracks, but we don't know that for sure because he sometimes throws curveballs, as he already has. So, Rob, without further ado, over to you.
Well, one of the things about over the last little while, I've been doing a sort of a journey through my soundtracks. I'm actually at number 903 right now, and I am currently working on Farscape. So that's the current soundtrack that I'm at, hoping to hit 1,000 before Christmas. Very doable. Very doable.
It is very doable. That's
in any case, grabbing a stack of rock is really hard to do with soundtracks, but I tried.
Okay.
Are we going to see the one inspired by Rupert Owens?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, I know what he's referring to. He's
I think
referring
it's Rockstar, is it?
Rockstar soundtrack.
No, I did not grab that one. I figured that this week, or last week actually, we lost a fantastic voice.
Yes.
Of Batman, and while not exactly rock, Batman Beyond
doesn't have to be rock, Rob.
Okay, then Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond
is while it features an older Batman, the music on here is really, really fantastic. It's not for everyone, but it definitely has a more rock feel to it. Maybe even like an industrial metal feel to it in places.
Okay.
So this is my first choice. I mean, in honor of Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And that's what I figured I'd start with is Batman Beyond.
I really like that stylized Batman on the cover too. Highly stylized.
Yeah, this is really cool because this is now out of print. So if you find this out in the wild, pick it up because it is definitely worth it. There is one other Batman Beyond soundtrack, and that's Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, and I have that one as well. But again, if you find it out in the wild, pick it up because they haven't released any new Batman Beyond, and I have it on good authority from all three of the composers that it unfortunately is not in the works. So, hold on to these.
There you go. That's a nice one. You want to keep going, or do you want to pass to Harrison?
Well, might as well keep going. Something that I was going through, found very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This is done by the Blue Oyster Cult.
Yes.
Bad Channels. And it's bizarre, it's fun, and it's got some really cool Blue Oyster Cult on here. Just an all-around quirky kind of soundtrack. Again, not easy to find, but if you do find it out in the wild, by all means, grab a hold of it.
What's the year on it, Rob? When did that come out?
Year on that is, I believe, let's see.
I'm just curious. I think it's an 80s album, but I'm not sure.
Well, okay. It was mastered onto CD in 2014, but the film itself, I believe, is an 80s film. Of course, it just has a single sheet, so. And yeah, but unfortunately, it does not have the date on it. But yeah, I'm thinking it's probably like 83, 84, something like that. I will look it up and get back to you guys on that.
I'm already there. 1992.
What? 92?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Direct to video.
Makes sense.
And the soundtrack went direct to quirky record stores, but nowhere near the major chains.
Well, yeah, it's a Full Moon release, Full Moon Records, which released a lot of kind of the quirky kind of Richard Band soundtracks from stuff like Doll Man versus the Demonic Toys or something like that. Tracers, or is it Trancers or Tracers? I think it's Trancers actually. And like just a bunch of these kind of, they were the Asylum before the Asylum was the Asylum.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, they released a lot of, Puppet Master, that kind of movie. So yeah, it's kind of those fun B movies that you watch on like a Saturday night or something like that, and just laugh your ass off at them because they're kind of goofy.
And both CDs you've shown so far are both what you'd call keepers, because if you find them in the wild, you're lucky.
For sure. Now, it's getting close to the season, as the season being Christmas, that is, and so I figured I would go into my collection and find something that, while not unusual, and I think most people know the story behind this, but I'm talking about Christmas in the Stars.
Oh,
because actually it was yesterday that the Star Wars Holiday Special was released.
It was the anniversary. You are correct, sir.
The anniversary.
Yep.
So I figured I would grab. Oh, hello.
Is Gimli here?
We have a Gimli. There we go.
Oh, Gimli.
Yeah, buddy, you smell like your cat food, but that's okay. But yeah, so this is the Christmas in the Stars. Now, for most people will probably have heard this, but if I was to mention the name John Bongiovanni, Would that mean anything to you?
It would to me. Does it mean anything to Harrison?
It sounds like Bon Jovi, but
It is.
Yeah.
This is the first recorded recorded performance of who would become eventually John Bon Jovi. And he sings on, I believe, R2-D2, "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
And I believe he got that job because it's his uncle, either uncle or cousin, Tony Bon Jovi, is a engineer or something of that nature on this. Yeah. He was involved, and then young John got involved. And actually, John did a lot of his very earliest demo recordings thanks to an arrangement with his uncle or cousin.
Yeah, this is produced by Tony Bon Jovi.
There you go. There you go.
So, yeah.
And he just, made his name 2 words, Bon Jovi.
Yep.
And if you've ever read Leslie Nielsen's book, The Naked Truth, he claims that Bon Jovi is French for good Jovi.
Okay.
Anyways, all right.
Now,
okay,
go ahead.
I was going to say, why don't we call that a round and go to Harrison, and then we'll come back.
Good.
Unless you want,
but
continue.
No, I'm good for now. I'm catapon. So.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I just wanted to address Gimli very quickly. Gimli, I'm really sorry. Actually, Rob wasn't the last guy in the song to appear on the show. You were. I totally forgot about you, Gimli. I apologize.
Well, he's purring, so
thank you.
I would
thank
say
you for accepting.
You are forgiven.
He's the true star, by the way. I mean, when Jen and I wrote that song, that was one of my favorite bits. Is that we put Gimli in there with us. It was one of my favorite bits. Okay, Harrison, over to Australia.
I had a couple of questions quickly. Just how early do you get your Christmas ornaments in shops or over there?
They're already
2 weeks
there.
ago. Yeah,
we had them before Halloween.
Well, we did in some stores. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, sorry, continue.
The dollar stores here don't even wait till the day after Halloween. All of a sudden you see like this one section of like green tinsel stuff. And then the next day after Halloween, it's like all goes up.
I tell you what, the day after Halloween, they got those decorations out of there quickly.
Yeah.
And kept it all Christmas.
Yeah.
When I worked at the record store, the rule was nothing before December 1st. Yeah. Anyway, Harrison.
Yeah.
By the way, happy Saturday. How is tomorrow?
Weekendish.
What else? Do you have anything else you want to ask about the rest of the world? Since we've been asking you about Australia in very rude ways.
This was just a question I had for Rob. Well, when I say question, it's more of a statement that Rob is going to confirm, knowing him. Okay. But do you have the soundtrack to Fast Times at the Ridgemont High? Speaking of 80s films,
I believe I do.
All right.
I'd have to look, but I'm pretty sure I do. And if I don't, it's on my wish list on the one site here on the record store site.
Yeah,
we can say it if the beat goes on. We can say it.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the KMA Grail list, but okay.
Now, both of you guys, who does the title track on that CD?
No clue.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I probably
it's not the title track I'm after.
Sammy Hagar.
I was thinking there was going to be a
Aha. Greg gets the bonus question. Hey, Greg, good to see you. I'll just quickly address Greg. He is the lead singer of an excellent band called War and Sin. And may as well steal Harrison's turn a moment. This is Greg's band, War and Sin. And I wrote about them a little bit last year when they sent me this disc and a beautiful T-shirt. And it's really good. I compared it to Blaze era Maiden. Oh. So thank you for watching tonight, Greg. And hi to Dravonis. Back to you, Harrison.
Yeah. The reason why Fast Times soundtrack is a keeper is we'll get more into this when we do that show with Tim that we discussed about reissue labels. But the version of Oingo Boingo's Goodbye Goodbye on there's some sort of weird, I don't know if it's a rights issue or something, but it hasn't been included or reissued on any album since. And that includes the current Boingo reissues that are going on. And it doesn't look like it will get included anyway. So that one's definitely a keeper. It's a different version than the one that's on Boingo Alive.
And here all this time,
superior
I
to, I think.
thought the Sammy track was the one that people were buying for. Apparently, I was way off base there. Anyway,
Yes, well,
cool.
How many Boingo fans can? Anyway, but to my stack. As I sort of discussed with Mike, this is a very left of field stack for me. You'll not see these discs. You will probably not find in my collection very many of them, and you will not see anything like this after this day. But probably had to be done. I'm going to start with the ones that are most up the rest of the alley. So first up,
I love this album so much.
Made in Heaven,
1995.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Now that includes the Freddie Mercury version of Too Much Love Will Kill You.
Yes.
Yes, it also has a couple of hidden tracks. I believe the first one is the
called
Indomitable Yeah. Easiest song for karaoke.
There you go.
And the final track is like this weird 20-minute ambient, very ambient.
Yeah.
Like if you liked ambient music, you would love this 20-minute finale.
Yeah. The front cover's got it at, I think, sunset or like midday, and then the disc actually has it at sunrise. And the back cover actually joins up like that, I believe.
And there's the other three guys. You can see their silhouettes there in the back. This is a great album. It's very dark, but man, I am such a fan of that album. It came out actually in a very kind of dark time in my life, and I just was gravitated to that album. Sorry to steal your time, Harrison, but that's a really important album.
Fine.
To me, that's a really important album, personally speaking.
Yes, because Rob is here, I did grab a soundtrack, but
Yep.
Brilliant.
I only know Mustang Sally, I think, but
no, both volumes, both volume 1 and volume 2 are really good, especially if you like that kind of soul era of music. But yeah,
that young guy that they discovered to be the lead singer.
Yeah,
I can't recall his name, but he's got such a voice, man.
Now the problem I had though is when they went on tour with it. I mean, when I saw it, none of the actors except maybe the drummer were there, and I thought that was kind of a bit. I mean, I understand, they're working actors; they need to work, but at the same time, it was kind of like, well, I came here to see, this the commitments, the ones that I saw in the movie. But yeah, no, both albums are fantastic, and the one you showed, the first one, it's one of those albums that as soon as you walk out of the theater, you're like, well, I'm either humming the music or I'm heading over to the record store to pick up a copy of it. So yeah, that's what
funny
I like.
what you mentioned about the touring. Yeah, when Boney M toured and when they actually played live, which was like all of 2 tours, the lead singer in the studio for all the tracks is their producer Frank Farian. But when they did it live, dancer Bobby Farrell would sing, which is interesting.
Right.
I was going to say something else, but I forgot, so I'll move on then, I guess.
Sure.
This is the most rock of the bunch. This is an interesting snapshot in time.
Aha! Mine's a digipack. I don't have the jewel case.
Oh. Yeah, this is most certainly a jewel case.
Maybe we can get some viewer feedback in North America if they've ever seen jewel case version of Best of Both Worlds by Van Halen before, because I don't recall ever seeing this before. I might be completely wrong, but mine's definitely a digipack. Exactly the same artwork.
Yeah, this is Warner Bros. Records Inc. marketed in Australia by Warner Music Australia, blah, blah, blah. Don't know if that's going to help. Frankenstein artwork, copyright 1979, Edward Van Halen.
If Tim Derling was here tonight, he would be able to answer whether this is a common thing or not. That's nice.
So this is an interesting one because it's got those 3 new tracks. New at the time, then new tracks with David Lee Roth, correct?
No.
Hagar.
Yeah, and they're not very good if I'm to be blunt.
Actually,
it's about time, Up for Breakfast, and Learning to See. And Up for Breakfast is some of the worst Hagar. Like it's like he didn't give a shit. She put butter on my biscuit first thing in the morning. Come on, man.
Well,
I
maybe
expect
he just wanted breakfast.
You know, see, I want to just. Sorry, it's my fucking show, and I'm gonna.
Okay.
I want to address Sammy Hagar right now. Sammy,
Okay.
you know, you are no dunce. You've written some pretty interesting lyrics, especially on some of those Chickenfoot albums. You know, you've thrown some philosophy in there sometimes in those Van Halen lyrics. When I hear you singing about putting butter on the biscuit, Sammy, you can do better.
Who eats biscuits with butter? The other interesting thing is that there's 3 live tracks from Right Here, Right Now, which includes my favorite version of Ain't Talking About Love.
Oh, he has an audio issue. So this has become my show now. Yes, Mr. LeBrain, we shall take over your show.
Well,
who's this? Who's Dave Lizmi?
He's a member of the Four Horsemen.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, he's a very interesting.
Well, LeBrain does his mime work.
Yes. You're muted.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so Dave Lizmi is the legendary lead guitar player of the Four Fucking Horsemen. And tomorrow, when I post this on my site, I'm going to put the headline, actually, because I need the clicks really badly. I'm going to put the headline as Dave Lizmi says, "Fuck Sammy." Because I'm going clickbait, baby. I'm going clickbait. Thank you, Dave. I'm sorry. I keep having audio issues. I think I might have to replace my microphone at some point. Exactly.
Incidentally, I just found out this morning that my headphones, this side is no longer working. So my left ear is really enjoying this, and I'm going to have to go and get a new pair.
Yeah.
This is a great microphone, but $200 microphone.
Was that one of those Yetis or whatever?
Yeah. But the jack is and unfortunately I've knocked it over because I keep getting the damn cord tangled up in my pants. Anyway.
I sympathize. I have had a certain black cat who's gotten tangled in wires and knocked stuff over.
And you've done live radio, and I'm sure you've had mishaps happen live as we are tonight. Anyway, I apologize for the technical goof ups. Mind if I go ahead? I haven't gone yet.
No, I was planning on throwing it over to you.
Okay, so really briefly, because I kind of figured Rob would have something Star Wars, which he did. And because Harrison has VHS tonight, apparently, spoiler alert, I decided to go Star Wars as well and involve some of my VHS. Actually, Dr. Catherine's VHS, to be specific. She gave me these to convert, to digitally convert. Starting from the oldest, Rob, you will remember from Star Wars to Jedi, The Making of a Saga, hosted by Mark Hamill. You probably would know this off by heart if I stuck it in right now and hit play.
Yeah, probably. Although it's been a while since I've seen it, so
yeah. Now I haven't converted these.
When I was a kid, you watched that and you're just like we're in awe.
Yeah,
the entire time. That's how they did it. Wow.
And the amount of detail that they go into, like I'm looking at that Jabba the Hutt blurb there in the bottom. It's so cool to see the little guy in the tail, and he's like, and when Jabba's kind of like. When he's nervous, I kind of like move his tail like this. And then when he's just calm, I move it backwards and forwards and just lollygagging, and it's like he's acting. He's only the tail of Jabba the Hutt, but he's acting. And he's putting 110% into his performance. I don't know if this is the same thing, but this came out with that remastered box set. Yeah,
I'm not sure. It might be slightly different. A lot of this stuff is showing up on Disney Plus.
Interesting.
In fact, when I mentioned the holiday special, the animated segment actually shows up on Disney.
That's right,
Plus,
the Boba
nothing
thing.
Else. Oh,
this came because it came with that box set. It came with the trilogy, and this is the 1995. So that was the remastered one where they redid some of the audio, but they had not yet done the video as they got to that in 97.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the actual cover for this box looked like. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's a cool one. And lastly, we don't have the original, but we recorded this from Steve's TV. It was a free rental. And this was more educational and geared towards younger kids. And Billy D. Williams hosted it.
That's not one I have never seen.
Yeah, eh?
Wow.
Speaking of, he's muted himself again. Speaking, he should just have that comment on speed dial. But speaking of celebrities hosting
me, and in a moment I'll be able to hear you. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? I was just saying.
I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
I hate to. That's a $200 microphone, but damn it.
So I just briefly interrupted you to say that speaking of celebrities hosting documentaries, John Goodman. I have a dinosaur documentary with John Goodman voicing and doing the voiceover for that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I had a unfortunately, a lot of my VHS stuff is like either packed away or gone.
Yeah.
But I did have a basically tour of the solar system hosted by Patrick Stewart.
I recall seeing that. Like not viewing it, but I recall seeing it on shelves somewhere.
Yeah, it was given to me as a Christmas gift, and
maybe
I had it for many years, and then of course when you have to kind of purge things, those are unfortunately a lot of my VHS stuff was the first to go. I know that back over here. In a barrack box, I know that I have those 3 Star Wars films that were going to be released one last time. I remember that, and going and thinking to myself, well, no, wait a minute, can't be the last time. Well, of course it wasn't, but you get that twinge of nostalgia, and you said, well, I got to get these, so. I ended up going out and actually buying them at a store in, I think it was a video store in the Conestoga Mall.
Wow.
I remember that.
Locals that will mean something to the locals.
Yes.
You know what, Rob? I just want to say we bought them all as well, like all of them. And then when we found out there was such thing as letterboxing, traded them in for the widescreen versions at The Beat Goes On.
Yep.
The last thing I want to show off on my turn, this is a custom, but it's my Grogu mask. 6 feet back must you be. And this was custom made for me by a buddy at work named Rick Coach. And he does amazing custom t-shirts and bottles and mugs and everything else. So if you need anything custom done for this Christmas, contact Rick Coach on Facebook. And that's it for me. So we throw it back to Rob. And we're already at the halfway point of the show. So I guess we only get to go around twice.
Okay.
But we'll have you on again no matter what.
For sure. Now, if Gimli will allow me, will you allow me? He's just purring away. So I think he'll allow me.
He's the star. He can do
it. I know, but he's gonna here. Why don't you go over here?
There we go. Why don't you here? Suggesting something to a cat has any bearing on what they want to do.
All right. Well, first of all, I have the Best of Miko.
Aha! Star Wars.
Which is again Star Wars related. But this has not just Star Wars on it. It has the theme from Close Encounters, Wizard of Oz, a Star Trek medley, a love theme from Superman. Can you read my mind? And it actually has the full LP, which I have here.
There it is.
This was under the Christmas tree, Christmas 78 or 77. I can't remember which, but this was actually my first introduction to, beyond the movie, the music of Star Wars. And I often wondered why it was so different.
Yeah.
Now I know.
I remember some kids in our neighborhood had one of those, and hey, do you want to listen to the Star Wars record? Sure. And then it came on. I was like, this is not Star Wars. Yes, it is.
Now, speaking of Star Wars, I have to thank Eric Woods for this. This was
That's
a
beauty.
this was I had once mentioned to him on the show that I really wanted the gatefold version of the Star Wars album, and I said I've never been able to find it at a decent price. So Eric, for my 1000th program, presented this to me as kind of a gift for 1000 shows. The only thing that's missing, he said, is the poster that was inside. But I didn't really want the poster. I wanted the artwork inside. And here, let me do that. Yeah, and
there it is.
Just
the
the-
gatefold. I'm going to close up on this.
Yeah, just the artwork inside
Yeah, that brings me back, man.
and that sort of thing. I have yet to play it. However, I tried to put it in a frame, but unfortunately, because of the 2 discs, it's too thick for one of those frames. So instead of Star Wars, I have Menos: The Hands of Fate soundtrack in my frame, which is sitting right here. Actually, I'm going to show you.
Okay, we're going to zoom in on this as well.
Menos:
The Hands
The
of
Hands of Fate. If you've never seen that film, it's a bad one. Oh my God, it's a bad one. However, Quentin Tarantino says it's his favorite comedy of all time. It's not a comedy.
I told you Gimli's the star of the show, Rob.
Oh, he's around. You just missed him by about 3 or 4 minutes.
He'll be back.
He's off doing kitty things.
He'll be back.
As he
You'll
does.
hear a loud crash in the distance soon.
Yes. Well, what will happen is that he'll either find his cat, or he'll find his mouse, his blue furry mouse that he loves to pick up and run around with, and then we'll jump up on the bed over here, and we'll throw it around, and then run off, and then come back and get it. I wish I had it on video. I got him a little bit doing that, but it was at the end where he threw it over behind the chest of drawers, so I had to go over and get it and stop taping.
Yeah, we know who's in charge in your house.
Yes. Now, record store day is often a good little time for little Star Wars stuff, so I ended up getting this. This is the theme
Mike has that too.
to Star Wars Rebels. And it has Bridger on one side. You've got
Chopper.
This guy's name always escapes me, but he's
K. There's a K in it.
Yeah, and then of course you've got a stormtrooper on the other side. So this was one of those record store purchases. Now,
we've talked about this before, and I believe that is the only physical representation that you can get of the Rebels theme.
Yes. I have asked Kevin Kiner if they're ever going to be a physical release of Rebels. He said, nah. He says, nah, I don't think so.
That's too bad. But I get, I'm involved in that soundtracks group on Facebook, and that seems to be a very common complaint. A lot of these soundtracks are download only.
Yes.
There's just not enough demand to press up a lot of physical copies anymore.
Yeah. Now, I wish I had been able to digitize and send this footage to Mike before the show. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance, but we were talking VHS.
Yep.
This shows just how old it is. It's actually a masking tape label, but I don't know if you can read this.
We're gonna zoom in.
When I used to work in television, I did a show called Daytime, and I co-hosted a Star Wars edition. So this was around the time of The Phantom Menace had just come out. And so I'm curious as to see, first of all, my Harry Potter glasses, and second of all, the if I'm as polished as I am now on the radio, or at least on television in this case. Now they've got a lot of other videotapes and stuff down here, but unfortunately, I don't think they'll go in any current video machine.
Oh.
This is
Wow.
this tape in particular is what's generally called a 3/4 inch tape. It's huge.
Wow.
This was at a time when the machines
Rob,
were huge and heavy. Yes?
if I'm not asking too much, could you hold that up with a regular VHS tape and compare?
Certainly.
That's like how you have Lego and then you have Duplo for the little kids, and the Duplo is much bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love bizarre formats. This is a real treat for me.
Right. So this is what's generally known as U-matic.
Okay.
And here's your VHS.
Quite a lot, at least an inch bigger height-wise and probably width-wise as well. I
Yeah,
would say.
and this only holds an hour.
Oh.
An hour of, let's see, it's at a 30 or a 60? Because these things came in 30s, 60s, and 15s, and that was it. There was nothing, no special speeds and stuff like that. Okay, you were talking about unusual formats.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Well, in this bag of tricks that I have here, and unfortunately I have no idea what's on this tape, but this is what's known as DV cam.
Okay.
And this was something that I picked up I can't remember exactly what it was for, to record. And so this is the format. And to make that comparison between, where did I put it? VHS. So this is VHS. This is your DV cam. This holds 184 minutes. So just over 3 hours.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah. And let's see.
That's a very narrow looking tape too.
It is. It's about it's a very thin,
Wow.
very thin tape. This was the last major format that Sony released before they went digital. So a lot of their their recording machines now just go directly to like a hard drive or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, most of my VHS tapes ended up either going to Value Village, or they are packed somewhere. So that's one of the unusual formats. Now, if you will allow me 1 second, since we're talking unusual formats.
Red Swan Pizza was my food sponsor, Chris. How are you, Rob?
Food sponsor tonight was Fireside Deli. Actually,
There you go, Chris. Thanks for the question.
I ended up getting their fantastic smoked meat sandwich. I will be right back. Just give me 1 second.
Sure. Well, we wait for Rob. I will just briefly bring this back. This came out in '83. I noticed when I was looking at the back, and Carrie Fisher was also in this, not just Billy D. I'm just kind of curious what the tape is.
Not unusual,
Fuji.
but it's been a couple of years since I've actually seen one. But if you watch a YouTube channel called Tech Moan,
love him.
This guy he buys a whole bunch of these machines, mini disc.
Oh, lovely.
Little mini disc that we used to have a recorder at the station that I used to work at, CKMS. And so I would record a lot of my shows there.
That is cool. I've seen a mini disc, but I've never played one.
Yeah, we had mini disc machines at CKWR. One still works, and it's in my office.
You know what? I'm going to take this moment. A record store thing that I've never ever disclosed before. I remember the manager that I refer to as the bully. We were talking about, do we buy mini discs at that store? And she's like, of course we do. Why wouldn't we buy mini discs? They're cute. They're little 3-inch little CDs. And I'm like, no, that's not what a mini disc is. Sure it is. And I had to let it go because if I didn't, it would have blown up in my face. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That was my supervisor. That was what she thought a mini disc was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I tried to find a DAT tape, but unfortunately I could not find it.
I've never seen one.
Yeah. That was from a time when digital audio tape was just pre CDs. They were holding on to those last vestiges of magnetic tape, and DAT I think was one of the last formats. I
do remember in '92, Steve Harris from Iron Maiden was talking about their newest album, Fear of the Dark, and I have a Meat magazine somewhere in the cabinet there to prove it. And he said, "We prefer to hear our music on CD or DAT." There you go. I hope I did his voice right. no, it's
more like Nigel Tufnell to me.
No, it's more like this. It's more like if I was doing Steve Harris, we like to hear our music more on CD or DAT. That's more Steve Harris.
That's more like it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm
Okay,
caffeinated tonight, so that's why it's all going off the rails.
Well, I hope there's enough energy for Chris Sarr, because there was...
I know he was complaining. I want energy tonight. So There you go, Chris. Poor Harrison. He just has to sit back and take it, I guess. Anyway, we have 15
all right,
minutes
so that's
left.
what I've got for now. I mean, unless we go off into a different direction.
Well, let's throw it back to Harrison.
Okay.
And then I'll go one last time. We'll see how much time's left after that. Actually, I'm going to involve you in my next round anyway, because I need your feedback on some of these things. So.
Sounds good.
Okay, Harrison.
All right, this is where it gets really odd for my music tastes, but there's a couple of cool like 3 CD sets that you probably wouldn't be able to just walk into a shop and buy now. This is Ray Charles.
Nice.
That's upside down.
Yeah. A little higher. There you go. Nice. The classic years.
So, what makes this so unusual?
It's just a 3 CD set in a digipack. You don't really see those.
No, you don't. No, you don't see those much anymore.
And viewers of the library of readers of Mike's site might recognize that little.
I don't know what the situation was in Australia, but here Castle Communications were kind of considered budget compilations.
Yeah,
and
like
I remember
a reissue label and budget compilation.
Yeah, and I remember some of their Black Sabbath sets were very dicey, but
I've got a Black Sabbath greatest hits from them.
Okay, yep.
I think it was really cool because it had a lot of deep cuts. It had like Planet Caravan on it. It didn't even have Black Sabbath, NIB, or Iron Man, but it had like Cornucopia, The Wizard, lots of really cool Sabbath songs.
Yeah, because they didn't have to bend to the corporate will. They could just do whatever, release it how they wanted to, really. All right. What else?
This is another just 3 CD set. Nothing. It's
Billie Holiday.
Okay. Yeah. I have a.
You can't really see that.
Similar.
This is volume 7.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have something similar that has what is it?
This window's actually the window to the CD, but they all have the same image. I thought it would be cool if they had different images of her.
You could switch it up.
Yeah.
Like physical graffiti. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And this is a deluxe edition, bonus CD edition of an album from 1996.
Ooh. Okay.
I've never seen this ever.
Yeah. The bonus disc has a couple of. You can barely read that because of the lighting, but it's got a couple of songs that aren't on the main album. It's got duet with Barry White. It's also got a bunch of live songs, which is what I might have a peek at, and a couple of edits and remixes.
What is that like a fat jewel case in there?
No, it's 2 CDs.
Okay, gotcha.
You've got the main album and bonus disc.
Right. CD. So the disc that is on the left there is the cover that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, this is the album bonus disc.
Huh. Interesting. Cool.
And That's all my CDs. I do have the VHS and one thing, but I don't know. Maybe you want to save that for last, or you?
I don't know. Why don't I grab what I have and we will discuss with Rob. Ugh. I wanted to go through all of these actually in reverse chronological order, but I thought I'd present my Williams Star Wars collection.
Okay.
The Rise of Skywalker, of course, the last one.
Yeah.
Very nice packaging with the sparkle star design. And one cool thing about it is that even though they were released years apart, all the sequel trilogy soundtracks basically match each other, which is a really, really cool touch. You know, do not expect to see that over the 6 years or whatever it is that it took to release these. And
that's about the only thing they had a plan for with those movies.
Right. And the cool thing is that each one is in the I got them in the wrong order there, but each one is in the color of the theme color for that film. And these are actually quite good soundtracks. I quite like Rey's theme.
Yep.
There's some other new themes in here that are absolutely fantastic, but I think Rey's is the most memorable.
Yeah.
So again, going reverse chronological, we come to this trilogy. Now, Rob, I wanted to ask you about these. Are these a good listening experience if you wanted to experience the Star Wars soundtrack from the original trilogies?
I would say yes. They are mostly, and Harrison will appreciate this, mostly in film order.
And do they have more tracks than the current editions you can get now, or are they just a rearrangement to be in film order?
I believe it's the RCA Victor ones. I'm not sure if they're exact reissues. I know that on the Star Wars, A New Hope one, there is a track that they go through all the different versions of the main theme that they recorded. So you hear the engineer say, "Oh yeah, main theme, track 1," and goes through all of that. It's kind of the neat stuff. You hear a little bit of the studio in the background, that kind of thing. I think you hear Williams on that one. It's a fairly long track. There's an alternative Twin Suns or Binary Sunset on there, and
do they have the special edition music, or no?
These go with the special editions. Yes.
Yeah, because the latest Disney reissues put Yub Nub on there, which is
all right. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll be right back.
Is this the single for Yub Nub?
No. Where is it? I know you're here.
Incidentally, I do need the original soundtracks. I donated all my original vinyl to my sister, which is deservedly so. She deserved to have them. But I do need to have things like Yub Nub.
I think the Disney reissues are just, carbon copies of the remastered of
all
the
right,
original.
There
soundtrack.
it is. That's the one that I still want.
This here, it's a bit beat up, but it does have the this really comprehensive book in it, and it has pretty much all of the music, including Yub Nub, on the discs. It's a 4-disc set. It is a really nice set. I'm glad I picked it up for the price that I picked it up for.
I want that
because in good shape, this can go well over $100.
Easy. Yeah.
Easy.
I regret not buying it when I've had opportunities many times. Yeah. Okay, going in reverse chronological, of course. Right. Next is Revenge of the Sith, which, as Rob remembers, the DVD on this is worth the price of purchase alone.
Exactly. Yeah.
2 CDs.
DVD.
Disney what? DVD.
Yeah,
I got excited for a second.
Hosted by Ian McDiarmid of basically music videos for some of the greatest hits of Star Wars.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then we have, of course, Attack of the Clones. This one was released with different covers, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
I ended up going for Yoda.
I ended up getting the Jango Fett cover.
Yeah, the Django promo artwork for Attack of the Clones was really cool.
And finally, I don't have the single disc Phantom Menace, but I do have this one. And I've heard you and Eric Woods talking about this one in extremely negative light.
Okay.
Eric Woods doesn't know what he's talking about.
Since he's not here.
My version of that's out of reach, but this is how you should experience a movie soundtrack with the Fox fanfare, exactly how it was in the movie from start to finish. And then you get the bonus
since
track.
he's not here, I will admit that this does have this. I have listened to this probably more often than I've listened to the single disc.
Wait, we got to do the thumbnail thing. We all have to hold them up in front
when
of
you listen to a movie soundtrack, it's because you want to hear the music that was in the movie, not Harrison, a handful of tracks.
Harrison, we're trying to get a thumbnail here. You got to put it in front of your face. Okay, so we're doing the thumbnail at the 55.5-minute mark. That's it. Thank you, boys. Thank you for cooperating.
No problem.
That's going to look brilliant. It is going to look brilliant, man.
That's more screen time than Darth Maul got in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have this, Mike.
I don't. Duel of the Fates CD single.
Yes, CD
I don't.
single.
In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. This was kind of one of those things that I went, I don't think I've ever seen this. So I grabbed it. And
I do have one CD single, which I believe Aaron gave me, and I think it's, you remember how they released them from the special edition soundtracks? They looked like 3-inch singles, but they just had like a clear outer ring.
Yes.
And I can't remember which tracks they were for, but I think I have the Imperial March over there on a CD single.
They did what was the Jedi Rocks?
Or it could be Jedi Rocks that I have.
And they also released, I believe, the Cantina theme as well.
Which Cantina theme? So like the iconic one, or like the one when Han and Thingy are discussing?
I'm sorry, I missed that. I missed the first part of that, Harrison.
So because there's technically two sort of versions of the Cantina theme. There's the iconic one that everyone remembers, and then there's the more laid back one from later in the scene.
Yeah, they're both on the version that Mike showed. There's that more laid back version, and then there's the main Cantina.
Yeah, I was so disappointed in the new Lego Star Wars game. I played it through with my sister. There's an extra to change all the music to just Cantina music that plays the entire time, but it was the more laid back version. I was so disappointed it wasn't the iconic one.
After all that work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we throw it back to Rob for the last bit here, and see what else.
The VHS, and then
throw out your VHS while he. Which
sorry. I wasn't expecting you to come back to me, so I'm kind of.
Well, you're the guest of honor. If you don't have anything, we'll just go to Harrison.
Hang on.
We might need to see Gimli one more time.
I have two things, but the VHS goes with the other.
Well, while you do your thing, I'll be right back.
Okay, let's see what you got, Harrison.
I sort of want Rob to see this though. It's
all right. Well, I'm watching at the same time.
There you go.
Right, so the first thing, this VHS survived our great DVDization because my mother was very fond of the film.
Oh,
interesting.
Little story on that one. I'll tell you when I come back.
The original film in a clamshell case, no less.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't standard packaging in Canada, I'll tell you that. It wasn't a clamshell.
Okay.
I heard Gimli.
And the other thing, this is much rarer than the VHS. It's because my mother saw Matrix Reloaded in cinema.
Okay.
And she got this.
The drinking glass.
Yeah, the Coke thing with the lenticular.
Okay.
Now, we might not have even had that in Canada for all I know. But it
looks cool, a lot better in person because it's lenticular. And
so that's 20 years old at this point.
Yeah, she kept this all the way from 2003, the Coca-Cola company.
That's cool, Harrison. Like I said, that's 20 years old.
Mm.
That is really super.
No one's drunk out of it since the cinema. I can see a whole pile of dust in it, but it was kept for
don't drink
posterity.
Out of it. While we wait for Rob, I'll just say hey to our buddy Holan, and hey to anybody else that may be watching from the United States, from Australia, from Canada.
Alrighty. Matrix got me thinking. First of all, a little story about the first time my sister brought a copy of The Matrix for everybody to watch.
Okay.
But we put the tape in, started watching it, and my dad goes, "What the hell is this?" So we got about partway through the first scene, and then I was kind of like, okay, so I guess we're watching this later. That was that was my dad. If he didn't like something,
he made it known right at the beginning.
Let you know.
But you're not wasting his time.
No. All right. So when Matrix Reloaded came out, I received this huge box of stuff. I had made a small request to the publicist for the Matrix Reloaded. And so he said, okay, well, I'll send you some stuff. And I said, okay. So I figured maybe it's like a package of something. Well, I ended up getting a huge box of stuff. And a couple of the things that came with it were the Matrix Reloaded ball cap, which a woman just about ripped off my head at a video store because she wanted it so badly. And then there was this. Hang on. Is this Revolution? No, this is Reloaded. A show bag that as Matrix Reloaded. Now, I had some other stuff, some posters which are still around somewhere, and a couple of keychains and stuff like that they gave me as well. But they basically, what happened was, on the day that I featured the soundtrack on the show, I had these whole bunch of posters that were sent to me. Like, there had to be at least 140 posters that were sent to me, and these were the various characters, not just Neo, but it had like Morpheus and Trinity and all of this. So
Merrington? Oh, wow,
I'm sorry. I believe so. Yes, I believe he was on there as well. Smith, I know, was one. Anyway, what I said was, I said to people, if you want a free Matrix Reloaded poster, come down to the station and pick up one. I ended up getting rid of like half of them because people just came down to the station and just wanted their free poster. But yeah, I like I said, when we cleaned out my mom's place, there was still a kind of like a poster tube full of Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions posters that I ended up getting from them.
I ended up
getting a Revolutions toque, which I can't find. Then I ended up getting a Return of the King toque as well. That I ended up getting, and if I was not cat upon, I would go get the toque. It's just out in the other room.
I just want to address real quickly my friend who lives out in California. The word toque. I told you so. That's what you call those hats. They're not called beanies. They're not called knit caps. They're called toques. They're called toques. And Rob said
extra vote for beanie.
I didn't even have to prompt him. He said it. Anyway.
So yeah, Rob, that's me.
You prompted one last thing. I had these rolls of stickers from the record store days when the DVDs releases came out. It says for the first time on DVD, and each one is a different film from the trilogy. And I had two of these rolls, and this is all I have left. This is all I have left. I've used so many of these stickers over the years. Well, guys, is there anything else you want to show before we go?
No, I got through everything I planned.
Yeah, cool. Well, I got to grab some things that I wasn't planning on. So,
well, we'll bring you back for fun. I enjoy the spontaneous discussions, and we definitely looked at some cool stuff tonight. I'm pleased as a format head that you brought that stuff. And there you go, Chris Thuss. It's a toque, and I sit on a Chesterfield. There you go. Thanks for the support, buddy. Anyway, we know what song we're going to play to go out on. We don't even have to guess. This is a song called A Vision in Sound, and it was written by Mr. T-Bone Erickson with a video by Mr. T-Bone Erickson with a little bit of Lego contribution from F&ck. But this is his tribute to Rob.
Still one of my favorite pieces I've done.
Absolutely. I agree. But before we go, Rob, just quickly, let's bleh, let's have a word blurb out of my face. Let's promote your show tonight on the radio or at visionsandsound.ca.
Well, tonight is going to be the 60th anniversary of Lawrence of Arabia.
Ooh, Peter O'Toole.
And and it's Jason Drury is going to be a part of the show. So
love that guy.
Yeah. And next week, if you want to tune in, I also have going to be doing the 80th anniversary of Casablanca.
Holy moly!
So with a special guest.
And who will that be?
The first time I've ever had a listener guest on. So
that's cool. That's really cool.
And
that could be you.
I'm sorry?
Just addressing the audience, that could be you.
Yes. But no, and one more thing as we head into December, I was able to track down the composer for A Christmas Story Christmas, which is the sequel,
new one.
The sequel that's coming out. Actually, it should be out this week if it's not out already. And I was able to get an interview with him, so I'm going to be featuring the original 1983 film and the new film that has just come out, the soundtrack. So
very cool.
Yeah,
all happening
coming up.
visionsandsound.ca.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are in the world, you can hear Rob tonight in about 4 hours.
Yeah, in about 4 hours time on ckwr.com. Just click on listen live and you'll be able to hear me. Or if you're in town, or if you're in the listening area, 98.5 98.5 CKWR.
There you go. He got his station right. High pressure here on the LeBrain train. I mean, the grab a stack of rock. Yeah. So even I'm cracking under the pressure now. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your Friday night. We will get you guys back.
It was fun.
We will do this again. Here is A Vision in Sound by T-Bone Erickson. See you guys.
Springs. No springs.
guess